Trump was right. Iran's long-range missile shock explained. 10 Min script. What if one of the most controversial warnings in recent years just turned out to be true? What if the threat that many dismissed is now unfolding in real time? Because right now, a single event has completely changed the global conversation about Iran's military power, and it all centers around one thing: long-range missiles. In a dramatic escalation of the ongoing conflict, Iran launched ballistic missiles toward a joint US-UK military base located in Diego Garcia, deep in the Indian Ocean, over 2,500 miles away. And even though the attack failed to hit its target, the message it sent was loud, clear, and deeply unsettling. This wasn't just another missile strike. This was a signal, a demonstration, a proof of capability. Because for years, analysts debated whether Iran truly had the ability to strike targets far beyond the Middle East. Some said no. Others warned that Tehran was quietly expanding its range. And now, with this launch, experts believe Iran may have crossed a critical threshold, showing it can hit targets thousands of miles away, potentially putting parts of Europe within reach. Let's break this down. The target, Diego Garcia, is not just any base. It's one of the most strategically important US military installations in the world. Located in the Indian Ocean, it serves as a launch pad for bombers, surveillance aircraft, and naval operations. It's a symbol of American global power projection. And the fact that Iran even attempted to strike it changes the entire strategic equation. Now here's the twist. The attack didn't succeed. One missile failed mid-air, and the other was intercepted by a US defense system before it could reach the base. But failure doesn't mean weakness. In military terms, even attempting such a strike and getting that close reveals capability. It tells the world that Iran is no longer limited to short or medium-range strikes. It's thinking bigger, acting further, expanding its reach. And this is where the political narrative comes in. Former President Donald Trump had repeatedly warned about Iran's growing missile capabilities, suggesting that the threat was being underestimated. At the time, critics called it exaggerated. But now, after this launch, many analysts are revisiting those claims. Was this a case of early warning that went ignored? Or is this simply a natural evolution of Iran's military program? But the story doesn't end there. Because while some experts are raising alarms, others are pushing back. UK officials have stated that there is currently no concrete evidence that Iran intends to target Europe or possesses fully operational capabilities to do so. That means we're now in a situation where intelligence assessments are divided. On one side, you have growing concern about extended missile range. On the other, cautious voices saying the threat may still be limited, for now. And this uncertainty is what makes the situation so dangerous. Because in geopolitics, perception often matters as much as reality. If countries believe Iran can strike farther, they will act accordingly, strengthening defenses, repositioning military assets, and potentially escalating tensions even further. At the same time, this missile launch didn't happen in isolation. It's part of a much larger and rapidly escalating conflict. The ongoing war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran has already spread across multiple regions. Missile strikes, drone attacks, and naval confrontations are becoming increasingly common. In fact, Iran has launched hundreds of missiles and drones toward US bases and allied targets in the region, showing a clear pattern of escalation. And then there's the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical choke points in the global energy system. Iran has threatened to shut it down, which would disrupt nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a military issue, it's an economic one, a global one. If that route closes, fuel prices spike, supply chains break, and economies feel the shock almost instantly. Meanwhile, the United States has already carried out major strikes on Iranian military infrastructure, including a massive operation targeting over 90 sites on Karg Island, one of Iran's key strategic locations. These actions are part of a broader effort to weaken Iran's ability to launch further attacks. But every strike also increases the risk of retaliation, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. So where does this go from here? That's the big question, because this isn't just about one missile launch. It's about what that launch represents. A shift in capability, a shift in confidence, and potentially a shift in global power dynamics. If Iran continues to develop and demonstrate longer-range missile systems, it changes how every major power, from Europe to Asia, calculates risk. At the same time, there are signs that even the United States may be reconsidering its strategy. Reports suggest that Washington is evaluating whether to scale back certain aspects of the conflict, even as tensions remain high. That creates a complex situation where escalation and de-escalation are happening simultaneously. And that brings us back to the central question: was Trump right? The answer isn't as simple as yes or no. What's clear is that Iran's missile capabilities are evolving. What's unclear is how far they've actually progressed and how they will be used moving forward. Because in today's world, it's not just about what weapons a country has, it's about what it's willing to do with them. And right now, with missiles flying across regions, bases being targeted, and global powers on edge, one thing is certain: we are entering a new phase of this conflict. A phase where distance is no longer a barrier, where traditional assumptions are being challenged, and where a single launch, even if it fails, can reshape the way the entire world thinks about power, security, and the future of war. And the scariest part? This might just be the beginning.